First of all, I think the community needs to be invited back in. I think there's a real sense of distrust between people in politics, and the community needs to feel like they're part of the conversation. So I want to start by definitely opening a forum where the community has an ability to have a conversation and say, this is what we need. I have gone to a police accountability board meeting before. I have seen it, and I don't think that the thought process that policing themselves probably doesn't work that well. That doesn't seem crazy to me. So I think that what people are saying there makes sense. It doesn't sound far-fetched. I think that you obviously have to go through and figure out the legality and how to make things work properly. And I think that's another skill set that I bring to city council. I don't think there's anyone else on the panel that has a law degree. And you're making the laws. I mean, you're the legislative body for the city. So you have to keep what is legal in mind. I think people are saying, look, we're paying taxes and they're expensive and we're struggling and we're doing our best and we just need a little help. And that doesn't seem insane. That's what government's here for. So if people say, I can't find affordable housing in this neighborhood, then I want to say, let's help people find affordable housing, because that seems like an important thing to have a place to live. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it seems more important than a soccer stadium. Legally, how do we do that? You know, do we have sufficient affordable housing in the Northwest District? When you said it and I started to think about it, I'm like, I can't really think of a lot of complexes. You know, there's like the towers on Lake, but there's not a ton of stuff. Or you have the towers on Lake all the way out by the beach that you probably have to wait, 20,000 years to even get into them. So it's one thing to have affordable housing, but if it's not accessible until people die, then it doesn't really exist. You know what I mean? I think there's a big trend right now to draw people to Rochester and to get investors in Rochester and to get these new hip Silicon Valley type people in Rochester. But there's a lot of people in Rochester, guys, and they're in the struggle. And it's really messed up to offer tax incentives or tax breaks or all types of things to get people to come to Rochester when the people that are in Rochester are just bleeding out and can't make it and aren't being heard and are, being treated poorly and are not being taken care of. That's a slap in the face. If I see, and I'm no, specialist in this area, but if I see this entire community is being affected by a slew of deaths, and I know what violent death causes, then we know that PTSD is probably something that's going on. We get in and we start to treat the fact that you're going through it and maybe counsel you or deal with it before you react. I don't know how to help the kids. I know that I believe that meditation is effective, but I want to know what the kids think will help them. I want to talk to the people in that area. And that's why you'll see me at events that maybe you don't think politicians should be at, or that's why you'll see me in places where this is my real community. And I want to talk to the people there to figure out how we change it and how we fix it, because I think it can be better. Another thing that I think is a really big issue personally, and I know this is a hot button issue with people, but recently in Buffalo, they changed the procedures, and if you are a police officer with the city of Buffalo, you live in the city of Buffalo. Yes, please. I firmly believe that we should have police that are part of the community. I don't go into any of these positions expecting to have a popularity contest or to be friends with people it's not about any of that. It's actually about change. We have an issue in Rochester, and I feel like it's like, let's do a study and let's call in this organization and let's form a committee and let's have a meeting about, I don't want to do any of that. Like, we've done a million studies. We know what the problems are. We know how to fix them. I don't want to waste another $1 million grant on doing a study to tell us things that we're not going to implement. We know what the problems are. We don't need $1 million study to figure it out. Let's fix them. If you actually care about fixing them, they should be getting fixed. We're resource rich here. We've got money, we've got people, we've got degrees, we've got grants, we've got people who want to help. This is a resource rich community. If you care about making a difference should be being made. Well, my entire life I've been a public servant. That's not new. That's always been my area of giving back. That's always been how I've done a service to the community, and it's always been something that I felt called to do. That's why, in addition to a law degree, I have a master's in social work. I knew that I always wanted to give back to the community that I came from. And I felt very strongly that the community that I come from still wants me in a service role. I think that there was a decision that was ultimately made, and I don't think that the community remotely made that decision or was even consulted in the making of that decision. So people reached out to me and asked me to run for office, and this is the office that happened to be up next for election. And when I looked into, I don't want to run for something I don't know how to do. So I had to look into what city council actually entailed and what the position was and what you do. And I've lived in the Northwest District for my entire life, and the seat is up, and I can see how people would feel that perhaps our district has been a bit mismanaged. So I thought, all right, the public wants me in a position of service, and I want to be a servant to the community that is in large part responsible for making me who I am today.